Chris Polanzi went from being a struggling realtor to doing six-figure months. So I wanted to bring Chris on to share exactly what it was like working with us from going to making barely making ends meet, if making them meet at all, to doing six-figure months, $100,000 plus months. And so, Chris, I appreciate your time here. Would you mind kind of sharing, 60 to 90 seconds of who you are and like how we met?
Yeah, so I met Alec at a networking event, and at the time I was a struggling realtor, making hundreds of cold calls a day, not seeing really any results. Originally, I was like, you know what, should I actually try and scale my real estate business? And I was like, no, I think I should just do something else. And then they really just hopped into my business. I actually before that though, I actually accomplished. So what I was able to do was in my first 6 months of credit, I got over $500,000. Then over a year, I got over $1 million in credit when I was 23. So we kind of leveraged that to build my brand for credit in the credit scene. And then pretty much they hopped into my business. They just taught me how to make money 101. Like they're just like, Chris, you have to learn how to make money first. You gotta build a brand. It's like we gotta get you leads now. So like we basically hopped on like a lot of like networking event calls, right? And Alec really hyped me up a lot as well in his space as well. They just helped me generate lots of organic leads. So we would always be DMing. Every day I would send 30 messages, right? Well, a lot more than that, but like 30 DMs at the very minimum, right? And it was just really crazy. Like we just had so many influx of leads. They taught me how to like hop on like these Zoom calls and how to close people, which I wasn't really that good at. But they were like literally on the call with me and like just helping me close these people. Then I got my first deal. I think one day I woke up to like a DM and it was just like, "Hey man, like I saw like your stuff. It was like it looks really cool. Like I would love to pay you for consulting." And I wasn't even up yet. I was sleeping. I'm in Hawaii, right? These guys are on the East Coast. And then I just wake up and then I'm just like, they're like, Chris, you got to respond to this DM. Did you want it? I'm just like, this guy wants to send me $500. And I'm like, that really? For a phone call? I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, I'm down. And that's pretty much how it happened. I'm like, all right. And it's kind of crazy though, because after that $500 Venmo, I was kind of like, like we kind of had a slow period after that. It's just how business is. And then after that, like 2 months later, all the work I was doing with the DMs, it really built up. And like just through organic outreach, I remember this too. It's like we were able to make a lot of money. Like like was it the first 3 months, like month one and two, not too much, but month, like end of month two and three, we made a lot. And I was like, it was my birthday actually. And I was like telling my girlfriend, I was like, I can't even believe this is even real. I was like, I can literally just sit here and make DMs and just make money. It's kind of insane. It's like I'd have to like
Yeah.
cold call people. Now it's just like cold messaging. So it's kind of like a lot easier.
Exactly. You're not
Yeah.
having to make those phone calls. You're just sending copy and paste messages that we help you cultivate. We show where to go and then, we do it for you. And then all you need to do is handle the convo and handle the deal. And all of a sudden cash appears. And so, to give anyone that's watching this kind of like a brief like overview, Chris has been in the credit space now for a few years and he was able to, at a young age, like he was saying, build up $1 million of his own funding, his own credit lines, which is a massive achievement within itself, right? And he had this skill set, but he didn't really know like what to do with that skill set, right? Like when we first met at that event, like you were originally going to be doing some like drop shipping things and investing in that, and it was like you tell me all the time, I ruined your dreams of it, right?
You
Where it's
did.
like so many people believe in passive income, and passive income isn't real necessarily. I mean, there are some real scenarios, but more times than not, they're just trying to get your money. And when I really drilled that into Chris when he was first starting, and I didn't get to him in time. He did his own things, but we started working on the branding. We started building his brand up, and now he has 100,000 followers. He has an endless supply of leads, and he's really been able to cultivate his own name in the space. And so, Chris, we've worked together for a couple of years now, right? And what would be the one thing that you attribute to the success in our relationship?
Mm, I would say honesty, because like when I was in a pretty dark place, actually, I mean, like I said, I invested around like I don't even know at this point. I think it's like 97K, something like that. This is called 100,000 in Shopify, right? And some other stuff as well.
You
Let's just
don't
call
gotta
it,
say the number, but that's very transparent. That is very honest of
yeah,
you.
something like that. One of those. And I invested in a lot of other things as well, but that was like the main one that stood out. And that was like a pure L. Definitely
That's
don't
a big
invest.
that's a big loss to
Yeah.
go. lose $100,000 on something that doesn't produce.
Yeah, so like my mentality was pretty off as well because I did quit my job as well as a realtor when I jumped in. When I first got like my first sale, I was like, yeah, kind of just have to get out of this shit. You guys are like every day you're like, why do you guys still work at this place? Like, come on, Chris, like you gotta quit. And I was like, that is true. And basically, so we kind of just helped. So with my mentality to help a lot with like my mental space as well, and pretty much help me pay off the debt and make a lot of money after that as well. So like super grateful for that because like I don't even know where I would be after that. You know,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
catastrophic.
Do you mind if like I share like you had a big number of debt, a large number of credit card debt from different investments, and that was the number one goal when we started working together. It's like, hey, you need cash flow, otherwise you're going to be hitting interest on this credit card debt, right? And
Yeah.
so business funding is a great thing. It allows a lot of leverage, but when you use it wrong, it's not that good of a thing sometimes. And so, what was your biggest concern before we started working together? Like, what was the number one worry before you made your first initial payment with us? What were you the most worried about?
Uh, I actually didn't really have any worries at that
Okay.
point. At that point, I was kind of like, well, I'm already going downhill. I was like, this is I was like, this is the Hail Mary. I was like, F it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So,
okay.
but Alec
Well,
was
hey,
he's very convincing. Alec is a very great salesman. I was like, man, like, if this guy can sell like, like these 20K packages or whatever it is, like nothing, I was like, like this guy can really help me sell things online.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, what did you find? Like, what did you enjoy most about working with, me and my company that you feel you wouldn't be able to have found anywhere else?
Mm, I feel like not that many people really go over like DM outreach online. I see a lot of people for paid ads, but they're not even that great at all. Like they don't even want to teach you paid ads. They want to just run it for you as well. They don't want to actually teach you anything about it. And then no one really talks about like sales. Like I've been we've been in this space for a while in the online scene. Like I've been, of course I bought other things down the road as well. And like no one as good as the sales as you. Like it's really hard to find someone
Appreciate
like really good at sales.
that.
So yeah. So very that too, like, and then what else is there? Notice the honesty as well, like transparency, with business as well.
Yeah, 100%. And so, what advice would you give to someone that is watching this right now and is on the fence of working with me and my company? What would be that one piece of advice that you would give them?
Mm, just do it.
Just do it.
Sorry,
Awesome.
Nike, but just do it.
Why do you say just do it?
mm, no, because it works. I don't know what else to say. It just works.
That's all we need. I mean, like at the end of the day, like it works, but there's one thing that I've always told every single person, it works if you do, right? And I tell every single person that talks about your success, like you can attribute so much to anyone else, but at the end of the day, if you weren't who you are, you wouldn't have, like, you need to put in the work too. And you did put in the work. And I remember, when we first locked arms, like, you were one of the most coachable people I've ever met. You were somebody that like listened. And if I said jump off that bridge, you were already jumping. And I was like, dude, I didn't mean that bridge. That's
Yeah,
too far of a jump.
it's funny.
But it's like you were very coachable and you were somebody that actually listens. And it's like, a lot of people when they're either making less than $10,000 a month, less than $25,000 a month, less than $50,000 a month, they feel they get this ego inside of them, and they feel like they don't need to listen to somebody that's ahead of them and doing more and doing what they want to be doing. And you weren't like that at all. And so if you weren't you, we wouldn't have seen the success either. And so that's the one advice I would give while we're on this call to people as well. It's like, yeah, our stuff works, our advice works, our services work, our done for you side works, but the mutual party also needs to work in this as well.
Oh yeah, man. No, especially too, like when you were serious, you were like, "Yo, we start tomorrow." And I woke up and I was like, "Oh shit, we're actually starting." I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start like next week." Like, no, motherfucker, we're starting today. And I was like,
Dude,
"All right."
success loves speed, right? Like you got to move with urgency in this life. And so, Chris, I know you're traveling to Europe for a month now, and I had to catch you right before your flight. So you're out there living it up. You're doing your thing. How long are you gone for? 3 weeks?
That was 2 weeks.
Dude, this is what the freedom of the online lifestyle is. You get to go travel in Europe, hang out for a bit, and then come back and get into Hawaii, chill with your shirt off, get some sun, and make some money.
Exactly. You already know.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time, Chris. Appreciate you jumping on. And, if anyone wants to check out Chris's Instagram, we'll link it below, but it's at Chris Polanzi. He's a great guy, great person to follow. Shoot him a follow. If you see this, he's a great person to talk to.
Oh yeah, guys, I appreciate you, man.